When did I meet Rick? Rick who?
I met Ricky Mercer in 1960 when he and I were in the first grade.
I met him at Wine Fest in Norfolk about 5 years ago.
I've known Rick for 32 plus years. I was born February 6, 1981.
Well, the first time I can remember Dad would probably be like,
How long have you known him?
When I was 6 years old.
How many years?
I've known him all my life.
I've known Rick since he had that extremely large bowel movement, I was told, and he pooped me out. That was a hell of a day.
We met Rick in high school. It was probably 8th or 9th grade, I'd say.
We've known him our whole life because he is our mother's brother. Uncle Rick has been a part of our life forever. For me, 30 years. For Jeff, I don't even...
28. I have known Rick 33 years. I met him at Station 4, right up on South Battlefield Boulevard. That was my first assignment when I got hired by the Chesapeake Fire Department in 1981. And he was assigned there, and that's when I first met the Mercer. And my life has never been the same since.
I have known Rick ever since the day he was born. I can remember that. I was young myself at that time. But, like I say, I remember him when he was a little boy. I moved away when he was 5 years old. I was gone for 40 years. I only saw him as I came back to visit with my parents, because after he got married, they lived next door. So that's how I got to see him.
I don't really remember. I think I met Rick, seems to me it was back in the 3rd grade. Kind of knew who he was because he was the only kid in school with a mustache in the 3rd grade, and we were skipping school one day and we were at Monk's, and Rick, because he had that mustache, he was old enough to buy beer, and Rick bought me a beer, and I always thought he was a pretty good guy after that. We've been good buddies ever since, and he still goes to Monk's a lot. Yeah, it was about the 3rd grade, I think.
Well, I met him in 1956, I guess. And so I've known him all my life.
I met him when Mom brought him home from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Aunt Wells.
How old were you when he was born?
6.
Okay.
And another thing I remember about Rick was Joe was in the Boy Scouts, and Mom had taken him to a Boy Scout meeting. Well, Rick needed a diaper change. Well, we all know Rick was as round as he was long. So the diapers were cloth. They had to be folded a certain way. It was the only way it would go around him. So it was just me and Daddy there. Well, I was quite sure that I could put that diaper on. So I put him down on the couch. We had like a little leatherette couch in the kitchen near the stove. I laid him on that, got the diaper, got it under him. I was trying to make that diaper go around him. It would not go. So I got ready to put my knee in his stomach to push his tummy down. And I remember Dad coming, no, let me do it. So, Ricky, you got to live through that diaper change.
I've probably known Rick right about 51 years. And I met him at his mama's house at Cynthia's. A bunch of us teenagers went over there to have a little get together, and Rick happened to be in the bedroom, and he come out and started aggravating us. He's in his pajamas, so we shooed him away. That was probably, I don't know, he was about 9 years old, I guess. Anyway, after that, it's been about 50 years, but actually I really didn't get to really know him until about 7 years ago when he first come to the fire department. And he was going to be stationed at Station 7 in Andrew. She'd been trying to get on as a fireman all them years, but they wouldn't let her. So they let her get her husband hired, and he come to Station 7, and when he come there, he had a little sign on the chair, "Welcome to Chesapeake Fire Department, Boogs." And I think he was a little bit embarrassed, but that's when I really got to know him and we worked opposite of each other, and that's the way it's been through the years.
I met Rick through his sister Cynthia, and just seeing him grow up as a little boy. But I really didn't get to know him till after he and Andrea married and Billy and I married, and then we started doing things together, playing cards. None of us had any money, so we played cards and just had dinner on the weekends, and we really became good friends and watched each other's families grow up.
I've known Rick for 38 years and 4 months, and we will almost be married 38 years next month, day after Thanksgiving. And I was a lifeguard, and your dad, or Rick, was a punch man. And so at a apartment, Kevshire condos. And I was teaching swimming lessons, and so I was teaching all the little kids. I was bouncing on the diving board, and I was saying, okay, this is how you do it at the end of the board, da-da-da-da-da. And I turned around on the board, and then I saw Rick. And he had on a pair of shorts, white socks, and boots. And I thought, oh my God, look at those shoulders. And I just about fell off the diving board, and that was the first time I met him. And then we went out on a date on Friday the 13th. And then we got married that same year in November. So it's almost 38 years that we've been married.
Favorite story involving Rick? The year he didn't give me his tax information on time. Oh, wait a minute, that's this year.
He and I were getting some stuff for Wine Fest. We were pulling a box trailer over the high-rise bridge at 5 o'clock on a Friday to go pick up some couches or something that were going to be used at Wine Fest. And he saw something in the road and backed up about a mile at 5 o'clock on a Friday up the high-rise bridge for me to get out and get a tire iron that he found on the side of the road.
Just getting together and going out and cooking and going on trips and fishing, and that's the stories that I've had that I remember.
Every time you're around Rick, it just creates another favorite story, because he's the life of a party, always fun to be around. But I don't know, no story in particular, just being around Rick is a lot of fun, and that's a story all in itself.
The part of what I remember is when he was chasing me with those denters, and that's the only time, that's the only thing I remember early at this age, so I'd say maybe 24.
Well, 24. I think that we were maybe 6 years old or something when that was happening. At the old house, he used to always chase us with his dentures up the stairs.
That's probably my favorite story, too.
When my father died, you and he were here and worked so hard on him to revive him. To me, that is the most precious thing that I can remember.
I don't think it's a single episode. To me, it's more of an evolving saga that's going on that I've watched over the years as we've gotten older. I think it first started when Rick was dating you. That's when I first got the little tinge of it, because Rick had played football in high school, and I noticed when he started dating you and we were talking a little bit about his football days, he was a little better when he told you than he was actually on the field. And so I thought, well, that's, understandable. He wants to impress his girlfriend, and, But then later on in life, when I started hearing the stories he was telling the kids, he was way better than he was when he was actually, playing football. And I've watched that continually over the years, going from, decent football player to superstar. Mm-hmm. And I kind of think that maybe, as I've kind of learned from him on that the older we get, the better we were. So that's probably my favorite ongoing event that I can think of when I think of Rick.
When I was little, he and I were riding on a dragster, little motorized scooter type thing, and he was going so fast and turning real quick on the in the yard, and I saw a tree stump coming up, and I was trying to get off, and I got off, and my leg got caught under the dragster, and he was laughing. So anyway, I was okay. And then another time when he lost his toe, it was in the ditch in our backyard in St. Bride's, and I had to go find it. He cut his toe off, he had tennis shoes on, and the middle toe was on top of the grass, laying on top of the ditch. And then we went to the hospital and they couldn't put it back on. We put it in a jar and took it.
The little kid across the street had a few emotional problems. And Ricky had his toe in a baby food jar of alcohol. And so it made it look really big when you looked at it through the jar. Well, the little kid across the street was afraid of the toe. So whenever he can't come over to bug Rick, Rick would just bring the jar out with the toe, and the kid would run away.
I'd say one of my favorite, this is for you, Jimmy Calhoun. One of my favorite ones is one of the stories that Rick always tells. I like the stories that Rick tells. He used to always tell one about when we were kids, and there was a place down at Nag's Head called the Casino that we really weren't supposed to be in, and we were down there maybe 15 or 16. Of course, Rick had a mustache, so he could get in there pretty easily. And there was a fellow with us named Larry Long that's no longer with us anymore, and I think Rick bet Larry Long $5, I think it was at the time, that he wouldn't walk across the casino and kiss this ugly girl over there. Of course, Larry did that, and a ruckus erupted, but Larry collected his, he did collect his $5. Recent story, we took a fellow we grew up with named Dean Scroll that recently lost a leg in a motorcycle accident, and in an attempt to get him back up on his feet, no pun intended, we took him to a cantaloupe festival up in central part of Virginia. Spent the weekend up there with Rick, myself, and Dean. Had a good time. Actually, we got the T-shirt. It says here, 31st Annual Cantaloupe Festival. Of course, we weren't really at the 31st Annual Cantaloupe Festival. We were at the 32nd Annual Cantaloupe Festival. Ricky was too cheap to buy the new T-shirts. These were $3, so we only got these shirts. That's a true story.
My father had come over, and we were talking, and he asked what Richard was doing, and I said he was valeting. And then my dad said, because he can't hear really well, he's in the ballet. And about that time, the Lion King came on as a commercial, and I said, yeah, he's in the ballet, he's in the Lion King. And then Will came in the back door, and then Will said, what? Richard's in the Lion King? And I said, oh yeah, he's in the Lion King. And then Will said, he's a gazelle in the Lion King? And I said, yeah, he's a gazelle. About that time, Rick comes walking down the stairs, and he said, he heard my dad say, is he gay? And then he got mad, and so then he's calling Richard up, and he's asking Richard, hey, I think that's wonderful that you got to be a gazelle in the Lion King. Then Richard's getting mad, saying, Dad, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not a gazelle in the Lion King. No, Richard, it's okay, it's okay. If you're a gazelle in the Lion King, I think that's wonderful. And so Richard's getting mad at Rick. My dad's thinking that Richard is gay, and Will's jumping around the kitchen as a gazelle. I mean, and it was so funny that and Rick was just getting madder and madder, and Richard was getting madder and madder, and everybody was laughing so hard that we cried. So that was about the funniest.
When we were probably in the 3rd or 4th grade, we were given duty to take the trash out, and so we took it upon ourselves to be gone most of the day. So I thought that was always kind of funny that we just found a way to stay out of class and no one knew where we were. But then in the 4th grade, he and I were almost responsible for someone's death, and we didn't plan on that, but so it's not funny. But we were squirting squirt guns at one of our teachers in the 4th grade while she was being an umpire for a softball game, and she couldn't take the squirting anymore, so she ran out in front of about the time the person was swinging the bat, and just about took the back of her head off. And that wasn't real funny, but that's a story that I remember that he and I were involved in.
after almost 33 years of knowing Rick, there's so many stories, but I guess the one that comes to mind was we were at that fire station up on Battlefield Boulevard, and we were on Tactical Squad 1 together. And the lieutenant at the time was Randy Ferguson, which was a dear friend of Rick's. But he came up and he said, "You guys on the squad have to be cross-trained on all the equipment." We had a ladder truck there. So Rick said to me, "Hey, let's pull that ladder truck out on the front of the station and set it up." I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we pulled it out. We put the outriggers out, we set the ladder up, and Rick ran it all the way up 100 feet in the air. So we're standing there looking at it, and he said, I told him, I said, "Okay, let's bring it down." Well, when he was bringing it down, it got jammed. It got jammed right there. We could not bring it down. We could not raise it up, and there it is sitting on the front ramp. So he looks at me, and I look at him, and I said, "What are we going to do?" He says, "I don't know." He says, "Go in there and tell the lieutenant what happened." So I go in there to the office and I said, "Lieutenant," I said, "we got a problem with the ladder out front." He said, "What's the problem?" I said, "Well, we put it up, we can't get it down." So he comes out all in a huff and the ladder's still stuck straight up. And he says, "Mercer, how far did you run that ladder up?" He says, "Well, I ran it up all the way, 100 feet. He says, "Well, why did you do that? You know you're not supposed to do it because it gets hung up." He said, "Well, what is it, a 100-foot ladder or an 80-foot ladder?" But that was pretty funny because we had to call the fire department mechanics down there and get them to straighten it out. And it was a big ordeal. But once again, I'm just a rookie and I'm just following the lead of the great Rick Mercer. Next thing we know, here we are in the middle of a jam. But looking back on it, it was pretty funny.
When I like to hear my dad tell a story about when I was a little girl, and I would go drink strawberry milkshakes with him, and I would bob up and down, and back and forth, drink the shake, back and forth, drink the shake. And I think that another funny story with Dad would be when we're out cutting grass. There's so many I can't even talk about.
I think my favorite with him is when he told me all he heard on the other side of the van or the truck. I think it was a Dodge truck or something. He heard a little banging on the side of the truck. And what it was I had preemptively known that I was sold into slave labor and I was trying to kill myself, but he saved me and got his work out of me. So.
What happened?
I didn't die.
The good grass.
I tried to hang myself in my Oshkoshes, hanging from the damn mirror of the truck.
How about the time you fell out of the truck? Dad made the big turn.
Hold on tight. How about that was the first time. How about the third time? Same turn.
Tuck and roll.
Same truck. You got it, boy.
Get back in.
Hurry up, get back in. I can't stop her.
Richard, what's your favorite story? You gotta have a favorite story.
I mean, I
thought my
remember,
dad chased him around the yard.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring that one up. That was the time, like, you know, it was a happy day for me because it's like I won. He can't catch me anymore. And then let's see, another favorite day is when he was giving me another spanking. And,
I know Lena's favorite. When me and you got whipped with the Nintendo cords and she was the one messing up in the van.
Well, I was going to say the day that he was spanking me and I was laughing at him and it hurt his hand so bad, he said he never used his hands again. Then he got a 2x4.
I think the best though is when we come home and Dad would be like, "When we get home, you better pull your pants down and you're wearing this spanking."
No.
We go in and pull our pants down and wait, and he forgot. He got distracted by other stuff, and he come in and Mom's like, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, waiting for a spanking. Dad forgot.
No. When he called the cops up to the house because we had a damn microscope
that Cynthia gave us.
That it had samples in it. You had to look under a microscope, and he could have sworn it was marijuana.
It was a vial, and
we had weed.
We were
6,
calling his own
8,
kids.
10
We were like, yeah.
drug dealers.
It was Mom's anyway. Mom's pot.
Oh man.
Rick, build a bigger barn.
I'd have to say, listen to George Rochevaux, keep the barn clean, and wear underwear.
If you could give Rick any advice for his next 60 years, what would it be?
Love his wife.
I think probably just to continue on. He's done good, and he's got a great family, and I think that continuing on and learning what he's learned from the past would be probably the best advice.
I don't give Rick advice. If I gave him advice, he wouldn't listen to me, and besides, everybody knows Rick knows everything.
He worries too much, I think. And he's a hard worker. So I think he ought to slow down a little bit now and enjoy it.
Quit worrying about everybody else's business and worrying about that I'm born in July. Quit worrying about that and just accept everybody like they are and don't worry about everybody else. Don't make any comments. Sometimes you don't have to make comments. You just go, yeah.
I want you to remember I was born on April 24th, 1947, even though I am the baby sister. And I want you to party hardy all the way to Florida and take me with you.
Continue to live life the way you've lived it. Oh, enjoy every minute of it.
The next 60 years? Well, one thing he might want to, he still hangs out at Monk's a lot. He might want to talk to the folks down at Monk's and see if they can install a handicap ramp. The other thing is he might want to stop wearing that bandana in there all the time. I mean, that started to cause a ruckus every time we go in there, Rick in that bandana and stuff that he says to people in there. It's getting so it's just getting difficult. But he might really want to get them to invest in that handicap ramp. He's going to need that. Also, he needs to listen to Andrea when she gives him advice, because usually she's right and Rick, he's not right very often. So
The advice I would give Rick is to slow down. He works some time he's up till dark at night. Got too many projects going on. And I would just tell him to slow down a little bit and enjoy it.
The next 60 years, I would hope his personality would stay the same, but he does need to slow down because he's working too much and we don't get to see him and Andrea as often as we'd like to here lately, thanks to the children growing up. And our children give us their dogs they don't want. His children give him their jobs they don't want. And it keeps him too busy. So just slow down, Rick.
Start taking Adderall and Prozac.
Yeah, Adderall's a good one. He needs that.
I think that my advice would be for him to let go of things, live in the future, not the past, and be a good as dad as he's been to us, excellent father, a wonderful husband, love my mother more, and be a good grandfather to our kids. Granddaddy.
Are we circling back to that one?
Stay healthy. Be less disgruntled. And what about
Shave
you?
the mustache. I think it'll take 20 years off of your life.
I know he wears Lena's underwear that she wore in high school.
Well, we really never discussed it, but I'm not sure he wears underwear.
None. It's just one less thing he has to wash. I mean, that's the way Rick's always been.
I'll answer that one. Commando.
I don't really even want to visualize that, but if I had to say, I'd probably say adult depends.
Oh.
I know for a fact he does not wear any underwear, and how I know this, I do not recall the moment I found out, but I have witnessed it several times by accident.
He wears boxers and they have stripes on them.
When he used to reveal himself to us in the hallway, and those were jockeys.
The kind I don't think about. I don't think about Uncle Rick's underwear. Sorry.
I think he wears suspenders or something over his pants. Or something. I
That
don't
is
know.
not pretty either. I don't want to see either of those.
Oh my goodness. I know what my boys wore. I would say Fruit of the Loom briefs.
Well, ever since Billy Rhodes told him that they didn't wear underwear in Vietnam because if you get chafed, they just didn't wear it, Rick doesn't wear underwear. And I think the last pair is probably in the tree behind the barn.
Ooh. I know what kind of underwear Rick wears. Rick wears a thong. And I know this. Actually, it's a thong and it's got those flames on it. It's something that you don't want in your mind. You want to get this out of your mind. I've seen him, you know, it's embarrassing. I know for a couple reasons. One, I've seen him dancing to Johnny Cash's A Ring of Fire. That happened at Monk's too. We couldn't go back for a while after that. And then the other thing is, I knew a long time ago, way back in high school, Rick wore that same thing because Ronnie Lee told me all about that, and I believe Ronnie.
All right.
A white Fruit of the Loom underwear, ragged, a little old, and elastic, probably stretched out of shape. But here lately, and in the summertime, he claims he don't wear any at all. So that's a fact.
I don't know. Billy seems to know him better than I do. But the times I've been around him, I thought he wore just men's brief underwear. But I can't swear to it because I've never really seen him in his underwear.
I tell you what, you can go out behind the barn, and look up in the tree, and there's a little pair hanging up there that he slung up there one day.
None.
Well, I don't wear underwear because of my father, but I do know when I was a child, I wanted a Batman costume because I told the radio station that my father wore red silky underwear, and I think I seen an elephant trunk in there. I don't know what else. He's got some funky underwear.
I mean, all I can remember is the pair of white Fruit of the Loom underwear hanging in the trees behind the barn. So I'm going with white Fruit of the Looms.
Yeah.
Rick has a mustache?
Probably twice. Seems like that's all I can remember.
I only remember one time. His lips looked like it was swollen.
Never. I think he was born with it. I think that he's worn it out, and it's time for a new one.
I would say none. I don't know. I have never seen him without it other than when he was too young to grow it. So I don't know. I've never seen him without it.
I've never seen him without a mustache. We've been around him so much with his mustache, we began to grow him.
Twice is his third life.
Wait, since '53? Well, that's including.
I don't know about when he was a kid, but yeah,
he had to,
right
we had to
before the Air
shave. Yeah, we
Force.
had to shave in the Air Force, so
Shaved
I'd say
before the
probably
Air Force.
100 at the most.
I asked him to shave for my wedding, and that was like a joke. I said, "A new beginning, Dad." That never happened.
Everything doesn't revolve around you.
It should.
When was he born?
1953.
Oh. Never. Maybe once. I'm sure he did once to see what it looked like. But I've never seen a picture of him without it.
I say one, maybe. I never seen him shave his mustache. Maybe probably one time.
2 times. One time when he was 8 years old, his mother says that thing's got to go. And the other time was U.S. government, Air Force told him that thing's got to go.
He shaved it off one time in about 76 or 77. He shaved it off when he went into the Air Force. I know that he did that. And I think he's threatened a few times. He cuts it. He knows I like that white mustache, so he goes into, maybe I'll do white, or that I'm mad at at me, so then I'll cut it off. So, but I've only known him twice to have cut the mustache.
Ricky was born in 1953. He didn't have a mustache until he was in the 6th grade. But I don't think too many people knew about it. But probably by the time he was in the 7th or 8th grade, he had to start shaving it because he probably wasn't allowed. But by the time we were in the 9th or 10th grade, he had a mustache every day. So I would say by 8th grade, he probably had to shave once a week, so that was 50 times a year. And then by the 9th grade, he had a full mustache. When he went into service, he probably had to shave every day to keep that, because his mustache would grow back in 2 days max. So let's say every 2 days maximum, he'd have to shave that mustache off. He was in the Air Force 4 years. There's a lot of math going into this question. So I would say 365 times 2, that's 730, and then maybe 4 more times. Let's throw a couple. Let's say 740 times, and that's pretty accurate.
I'm sure that it's a lot, but I can remember in high school that when the rest of us were all trying desperately to grow peach fuzz, Rick had a full beard. He had more of a beard than most of the male teachers at the school. And that used to really haunt all of us, and we couldn't understand it. But later on, after we delved into it a little bit, we found out that the reason for that was because in the 7th grade, that was the hardest 9 years of Rick's life. So that kind of helped to explain it, made us feel better about ourselves, I think, on that.
Oh, you're bad. Well, I say 10 times. I don't know. I think maybe when he was in his teens, he may have started with it, and he may have shaved it for something. I don't know. I say 10 times.
Well, I don't really know how many times, but the first time I ever remember him shaving it off, that goes from like the 3rd grade on, was I think we were in the 11th grade, and Rick was dating this girl. Rick had a big bushy mustache even then. The problem was the girl had a big bushy mustache. Rick cut his mustache off after we ribbed him so we could tell the two of them apart. The funny thing about that was we found out that the girl really wasn't a girl after all. And then Rick, a little while after that, a couple months maybe, Rick broke up with her after he found out that he wasn't a girl. So, and that happened a couple times with Rick. I mean, you had to kind of keep an eye on Rick.
He's just pissed off at the current President of the United States.
Yes. I'm the #1 reason he's disgruntled.
I don't know how to fix all that.
Disgruntled? I don't think he's disgruntled. He's just serious about everything. He's very serious. He likes to have fun, but he's very serious and to the point. He might have missed his calling. He should have maybe been a politician.
No, I don't think he is. He's just a sweet man to me.
Rick gets labeled with that a lot. I don't think he's disgruntled. I think he's just grumpy and moody. I think that's primarily what it is, and it's mischaracterized all the time.
Yes, he's disgruntled. He's disgruntled about everything, about the Democrats, about the South losing the war. It's a little known fact that Rick actually is a descendant of a Yankee cook on a Navy ship. People don't know that, but that's a fact, a proven fact in his history. So he's basically half-ass Yankee.
Disgruntled? He was born disgruntled. He came out disgruntled. The first time I ever met him, 33 years ago, I said, my God, that guy's disgruntled. And he hasn't disappointed me one day since then.
I think he is disgruntled because he has too much stuff. And he doesn't know which way to go every day to tackle it.
Well, I don't think Rick is disgruntled, but if he were, it's because everybody else worries about his stuff.
I don't think he is. I don't think he has anything to be disgruntled about. He's got his pool, he's got his cabana, he's got his kids. I think he has nothing to be disgruntled about. Maybe disgruntled about cleaning the barn. That's about it.
I never seen him disgruntled, so I don't think
he just
is.
looks disgruntled.
Well, he looks disgruntled.
I don't think he's really disgruntled.
His mustache makes him look like a very angry person. But I think maybe he takes things seriously, and it's at a point. But maybe to a degree he's disgruntled.
I think Rick is disgruntled because Rick is a girl trapped in a man's body with a great big bushy mustache. Who wouldn't be disgruntled? Look at him.
What makes him disgruntled is he got so many projects going and he can't seem to find time to finish them all. He's got 4 or 5 boats that he's working on or been working on, a couple old cars, and a chicken house he just finished sprucing up a little bit. Too much going on. And I think he just never has time to finish it all, and that's why he works from sun up to sundown.
Well, everybody says he's disgruntled, but whenever I'm around him, he always seems okay. I think he's all right, but I'm not around him when he's disgruntled. I don't have to live with him.
Well, I don't think it's really nice way to
I
put
think
this.
it starts with Andrea. I'm
Lee,
going to go
Morgan
with that.
Mercer.
Yeah.
Andrea Lee,
Bugs.
Morgan
Morgan
for Saldana Mercer.
Turkey.
Bugs.
Yeah, mistake 1. I think he just has too much stuff, too much going on. He worries too much. And I think that he
doesn't look on the bright side of anything. Everything's
No.
always negative.
Yes.
It's black and white with him.
Yes.
Sometimes he takes help, like things, we all do, but he'll take things as criticism instead
Isn't
of being,
counsel.
help.
Oh, definitely 1492, because he sure would have told Christopher Columbus how to sail across the Atlantic Ocean.
I think during the Civil War.
1853 rings a good bell.
100 years ago.
1860? Is that what he said?
1850 or 1845?
I think then. I think he should have been around for that.
I think he was some kind of alien from outer space or something. Because I mean, you never see somebody like that. But as far as looks, he probably should be like maybe 20,000 years in the future. But maybe, well, as far as his personality though, definitely 1800.
What time or what period in time would Rick have fit just as well? I think he made a good run at these 60 years, being born in 1953. But if he had been born in 1853, he would have probably been just as well.
He should have been born sometime in the early 1800s, because that's the way he lives.
Rick Mercer should have been born and served under Honorable Robert E. Lee, because if he had been born back then, he probably would have been a different outcome to the Civil War, because he has sure fought them battles over and over. And I believe if he was back in that day, which that's his character, he would have probably changed the war.
I think Rick likes his electricity and his electric wash machines and dishwashers. I'm guessing about the early 60s, before it got too technical.
I think Rick was born in the appropriate year for him. I think 1902 was a good year, and that's suitable.
I'd just say he's just a little older in mine. But he had a good year. That was a good year.
I think Rick probably should have been born around 1843. If I used my Great Bridge math, that would have made him be about 18 years old at the start of the Civil War, and he would have been able to enlist in the Confederacy. But then too, on second thought, Rick having that mustache as early as he did, he probably could have enlisted at age 10 and gotten by with it because of the mustache. So I would say probably he should have really been born in around 1851. and that would have put him 10 years old with a big ass mustache, and he could have been in the Confederacy, and he'd have been happy for a while.
Ooh, what year was it? What did we decide?
18, no. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'd say-
1807.
No, 18...
1807 could have rode into
1840, because then he could have been in the Civil War.
No, Richard. 1807, Robert E. Lee was born. I would say that year, so then he could ride alongside. 1840 really wouldn't work.
I agree that the man's old.
You old
Here.
school. You
He's
old
old school. He's, what are those breeches they wear back in the day?
Knickers?
That's knickers. He's a knicker wearer without underwear. But
You gotta say that clear, more clear.
knicker wear without underwear?
Knicker.
Hey,
She
you
said
think he was
knicker.
ever sewn into
Knicker.
you think he was ever sewn into the sheets?
No. But he does like technology, even if it is medium size.
He's a techie.
Internet.
He's a techie.
1801, April 1st. It would have been a hell of an April Fool's Day, but yeah, back in the 1800s. I mean, Rick's not really progressive.
I'm figuring about 1840 to 1845 because that would have made him between 17 and 22. He'd have probably been old enough to fight for the Confederacy, and he probably would have been able to hold some rank. I don't know if he would have been a corps commander, but I'm sure he would have had a regiment.
Rick's barn's dirty?
Technically,
I seen a picture.
Yes,
No.
I remember clearly when you two were taking candy from a stranger. The barn was clean because he had combines and tractors parked in there.
I've never seen the barn clean, but I do want to make a statement that nothing in Rick's barn is actually his. It's other people's. It's mostly mine things that are taking up the barn. Then you move to one of you, Will probably next, that's taking up the barn.
Look,
Richard,
my stuff's partial
Beth-
ownership, Rick's and mine.
Beth's got washer
Well, Dad,
dryers.
no.
We broaden that question to, have you ever seen the property clean? And everyone can say no.
That'd be a negative, but he's working on it.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's got too much
Yeah,
going
that's
on.
nice.
Let's end on a positive note. Rick
Yeah, Rick,
is
you're doing a great
working
job. You
on
really
cleaning
are.
out his barn.
You're
Yeah,
doing
and
phenomenal.
He's got too much going on.
Old lawn dog
And he
can't
gets
hold
no
down
help from
30
his
yards.
children.
Yeah, on Wednesdays.
These mistakes.
Earl's there.
Yeah, man.
His barn is clean.
Oh yeah, I saw it clean when it was brand new. We had a party there, just like we're having right now. And Rick had just finished building the barn. He was so proud of it, and he had an oyster roast and barbecue, and we couldn't afford a band probably, so we had 8-track tapes and so on. For those of y'all that know what 8-track tapes are, and it poured down rain. That's the only thing I can remember. It was soaking, sopping wet. Everybody was stuck. He had the tractor pulling everybody out of the mud holes. I dropped my wife in the mud hole that night, but that night the barn was clean. So that's one time, 2 more times, it's 3 times.
I've never been in the barn. I don't know. I've only seen it from the outside.
Well, I never saw it clean in the first place because I missed the first showing. But I'm excited to see it this time. I don't think I've ever seen the inside of it dirty or clean. I just never go there. It's a scary place.
Only went there one time when I was like 5 years old.
Well, you went for her wedding, right?
Yeah, well,
I didn't go to that
for something
because you
that
were there.
I did go around last year. What was it?
Yeah.
Q and Stew or something, and
Yeah.
that place was clean as anything. I don't know if Rick actually cleaned the bar.
Oh, he did.
But did I say bar? I meant to say barn.
It was a bar also that night.
Yeah, that's true.
Nope, never. In fact, I've seen it many a times, packed full of stuff. I didn't know it was that big. Now, I did hear a story, though, and some of the old guys in the fire department said basically how that garage got built, or that barn, was he had a big pile of junk, and he built the barn around it. So, but I don't know if that's true, but Actually, I think it is.
The only time I saw the barn clean other than last year was in 1979 when it was built. And it's been stuffed ever since.
Never.
No, never. The first time I walked into the barn, he basically tackled me when I opened the door. He said, "What are you doing in here? What do you need?" I said, "Nothing. I was just told to put this cooler down." "Well, they go up there." I said, "Where?" He said, "Halfway down, look up, put it on the loft, put it with the other one." So I go over there and made my way through the maze of stuff, and I put the cooler up there with 18 other coolers that had died, and I put this one in its place with the other one.
Yes, when he first built it.
Yeah, the day they put it up.
The day they laid the concrete.
Yeah, the day they laid the concrete.
And it dried.
And it dried. Then he started moving stuff in.
Yes, I have seen that barn clean when it was built brand new. And it was huge. Couldn't believe how big it was. But somewhere along the line in the next year or so, Andrew started to have a hog farm. He started raising hogs in the barn. And ever since that, it's been a collector of many items, especially from Jack Peoples' auction place. I think all the stuff at Jack Peoples has already been moved down to 513 John Etheridge Road. And then when he has a party, he cleans it out, puts it outside kind of neat. But then after the party, makes its way back into the barn. Say maybe it's been cleaned out maybe 3 times.
Well, I haven't been in the barn as many times as these guys that go up there to borrow something from Rick. I gotta, in defense of Rick, if you need something, he'll always loan it to you because it's in the barn. But the only time I've ever seen it cleaned out was in the last year. But when he first built it, we had a party. And I can remember a bonfire at the party, and everybody sat around that bonfire and burned up the sole of their shoes. And I can remember it being clean then.
Wow. How do you say anything you want to about Rick Mercer?
Hi Rick, it's Seal. I'm so glad Lina asked me to share a memory for this special occasion. And I'm sure you're going to remember what memory I'm going to talk about. It was such a special night and so memorable. And Rick, I've never had another night like that. It was just so special. It was all because of you, Rick. You remember that night, don't you? It was the night that at the fire station you and George had a big fight. And he didn't sleep all night and sat up in the black chair. Well, by the time he got home the next day, he was so tired that night he was quiet. He was exhausted. It was the best night I ever had. Thanks, Rick. It was all due to you. And by the way, have a happy birthday.
Rick, you're a good guy, buddy. You're one of the few guys left I can talk to. We've got a common history, kind of a common heritage, and we can talk about some of the delinquents that we grew up together with, and you know who I'm talking about. Enjoy the good times.
What I'd like to do is just wish Rick a happy 60th birthday, and hopefully, since I'm retiring, next year we'll have many happy days ahead.
So we live another 20 years so we can have 40 family reunions.
Yeah, that's right. 40 family, or 80 in that most.
Wishing you many more happy years with good health. We love you, and you've been friends for many, many years, and hope we all remain friends for many, many more years. Stay healthy, and we'll see you at the big party. And I sure am glad it's a birthday party and not an anniversary party. And your name's going to be on the whole cake and not just half of it.
Well, Rick, I'm glad you made it to 60 years. I didn't know if you were going to make it. I don't think you knew you were going to make it. But you've been a good friend. I really appreciate our association over the years, and I hope you have another, 25? That makes you 85. I think that would be a good run.
I love you. You're my bestest, biggest brother, and I'm glad you're here for another 60 years.
We wish you a happy birthday and, you know, good wishes.
You've got 40 more to live, so you better get healthy. I love you. You've been an excellent father. I couldn't ask for a better father. And hopefully one day my husband will live up to your awesomeness.
He's probably one of my best friends. He's a good guy. I mean, Dad's one of those people that'll do anything for you. I mean, he just keeps
He's always there for you.
Keeps up what he's doing and just kind of ignores certain people and not to point fingers.
Happy birthday, Rick. We love you. Thanks for always being there and making us laugh. We hope you have a great birthday.
Wish you, Rick, a happy birthday and many, many more.
Wishing you a happy birthday, Rick.
Happy birthday. Keep listening to Spoofer because she's always right. And I love you like a sister, man.
Happy birthday, Rick.
Happy birthday.
Love you, buddy.
Happy birthday, Rick.
Happy birthday, brother, and let's see if we can do it again next year.
We love you.
Love you.
Yeah, we all do.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rick. I love you.
Love you.
Mwah.
Amen.
Amen.
Wait, Cat Cat doesn't even have her mustache on. She's trying to get out of the mustache.
It was really special. And now I've completely forgotten it. Y'all made me.
Wait, he's calling my son gay? And then...
Alright. So...
Okay, I'm gonna have to start over. Is that bad?
My favorite story involving Dad was the day I beat him up when he was running his mouth. No, it's a total lie. That never happened.
Whoa!
Sometimes when Richard talks, a plane just flies out of his mouth.
What's your favorite story, Robert? Well, that's what I've just told you.
I know, you gotta tell, see right there where the red is? See the red dot? It's recording now. So your favorite story was when you came to the house and the sunroom and all the food.
It was part of the family reunion.
I visited them when they enlarged the house and made a porch, you know. But then they had a lot of ground unused, and he took all that ground and made a summer house out of it.
Who came with you?
My sister.
Your sister came with you to the house?
Cassie.
Cassie.
Did Jane and Irvin come?
Cassie is the youngest one in my family. And if you could give Rick any advice for his next 60 years, what would it be? I say, how old is he? Do you know?
60. He's turning 60.
Well, what would it be?
He'd be 120.
I'd say live on. Be happy with your days, and thank the Lord for what you have.
That's what he needs.
Is this
You don't have to answer that one unless you want to.
what type of underwear do you think Rick wears? I don't know.
You think he's a boxer or a brief guy?
Underwear. This is supposed to be a funny thing. Let's see. Red. I'd say red underwear.
Red underwear? That is my mom's favorite color.
How many times do you think Rick has shaved his mustache off since 1950? I'd say 10 times.
10 times. That's a good guess.
Do you think Rick is disgruntled, and why are you not? Why are you?
Why or why not?
Why not? Disgruntled, and why not? And why or why not? Disgruntled. I don't think he gets disgruntled very many times. I don't think so.
He's always sweet to you, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
What year should Rick have been born? Let me see.
This question is, you know, his personality and his morals and his beliefs. Should he have been born in like the 1800s? Should he be born in 1900s and 2000?
What year should Rick have been born? You know, I remember him way back there when we had Christmas gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
And he was bringing his little baby to this gathering.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing everything that the mother would do. She was left home, I guess, and couldn't come out at that particular time. Yes, Rick have it wrong.
So do you think Rick's values are values from the 1900s or the 1800s? Do you think, like a lot of people will say, Rick, you were born old. You know, like he was never like a lot of the other teenagers. He always thought like an adult. And he liked farming, and he liked all the things from the old times.
He still likes all the old times.
Mm-hmm. So some people think he should have been born back in the early 1900s or the late 1800s.
I
that's
say
his time
early
span.
1800s. 1810 to 1890.
Let's see. Well, I can say anything, can't I?
You can say anything you want. It's your opinion.
I'd say 1800.
I agree. This one here, now, for the camera, can you tell him how you know and who you, and your name, who you are?
Well, I met him. Let's see. When Jane would take me to their house, he would have a gathering for everybody to come to their house, and Jane then wasn't feeling too well, and you don't have to. You're taking all this down. Jane wasn't feeling, and it was a hot day, but we were on our way there, and the traffic was standing still, and we couldn't move. So finally, the traffic did move, and we got to his house, and we had a good time at the party.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what else?
Anything you want to say?
Give Rick any advice for his next 60 years. What will you be?
You did this one. You did all these.
You
did all of them. The only one that you didn't do was this one here. But you could just say you've never seen his barn, so you don't know.
2 times over the past year. Have you ever seen his barn clean? I've never seen his barn. I've never seen his barn.
You're not the kind of lady he'd take into his barn, I promise you. Alright, so you sure you don't want to wear a mustache?
Ooh. You can have them yourself.
Okay, I'll keep all of them for myself. I'll keep all the mustaches for myself.
Yeah,
Well, the party is in 2 weeks. His birthday party. It's a surprise. In 2 weeks. So that's why we're videoing, so we can show him at the party, we can play the video. And I knew you wouldn't be able to come down. So we wanted to come to you. And he'll love that you're on his video. He'll be so happy and thankful.
Well, I think he would have everybody there at the party. I'm sure that's where he wanted it to be. And I would be there if I could.
I knew you would. I know. But at 107,
107,
you're doing good. You feel good?
Well, I don't know how I'm doing. You know, the world is changing so much. And I feel not like that I'm not a part of it. I can't get out of this place. I have to use my walker. So I can't go along with any of the changes. But I'm happy to be here.
What do you think the key is to living to 107?
Think of what?
What do you think the key is to living to 107?
Well, I think the key is being happy myself and wanting other people to be happy, trying to make other people happy. And that's why I have those things up there.
Mm-hmm. On your door?
On the door. And for somebody to find something that they can use as something that will make them live a happy life.
Mm-hmm. And your faith. I've always admired your faith. I've always admired your faith. You have a strong faith.
Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, my mother was like that. And I wish if I could if I could have my life over, I'd have a mother. I don't have anybody but my son left.
Mm-hmm.
And he's busy.
How's he doing?
I think he's doing all right. He calls once a week on Saturdays, and we try to catch up with news on that end and on this end. So
he has a lot of kids, so he has a lot of news, right?
How many kids does he have?
5, right?
5 kids?
I think so.
Hmm.
And grandchildren.
So you have no regrets?
What?
No regrets. You have no regrets in life?
No regrets. No, I have no regrets. What is that over there?
That is your cupcake.
She brought you a cupcake.
It was a teeny cupcake today.
Brought me a cupcake.
A mini coconut cupcake.
Did you make it?
She did. It's called Mini Day.
Oh.
I bought it for you. Yeah. When we went to the cupcake bakery store, She told me she did not have any regular size cupcakes, only the teeny tiny ones. So that's what you got today.
Are
The
you going to
teeny-
leave that for me?
I am.
Well, I thank you.
You're welcome. It's only about 2 bites.
You brought that flower,
Yes, ma'am.
and I've enjoyed it.
I'm glad you have. It still looks pretty. It's green.
And I sort of made it attractive.
I think you did. It's a much nicer flower pot.
Do you water all those?
Hmm?
You take care of all those plants?
Yes, I do.
You have a green thumb.
That's what they say.
Jeff, you think of any questions? Kaka?
I just enjoy hearing her talk.
I know.
Well, I'm so happy that you did come to see me.
Yes, ma'am. And now that I have actually made it up here by myself without Rick driving, and we actually got to your house, I can probably come a little more often.
She came all on memory. No directions. Just her memory from coming up here.
Oh.
That's how she got us
Because
here.
usually Ricky drives, you know, and he knows how to get here.
So that's why you were late.
Exactly. We had to make a couple of U-turns.
All right. So my memory's not as good as yours.
She's 66 now. She just told us in the car.
Well, she's young,
She
isn't
is.
Very young.
And her granddaughter's doing excellent in school.
How old are you?
I'm 32 now.
How much?
32.
Whoa, that is young.
That's getting old
That was
too.
that little baby you were talking about that Rick was taking care of just like a mother. That's right there.
Now, who is your father or mother?
Rick Mercer.
That's
my dad.
That's your dad.
And Andrea.
Andrea, she's looking forward to her retirement.
She is.
Yes, she is.
She's going to retire January 31st.
Are
She gets to retire early.
Are you the only daughter?
I'm the only daughter.
So, you have a college education?
Yes, ma'am. It took me 7 years, but I have one. Thank you. Thank you. It took a while. So now we're going to have my dad and mom are going to have their first grandchild.
Have a what?
They're going to have their first grandchild. I'm 5 months pregnant. See right here?
Oh, you're 5?
I'm 5 months pregnant.
Well, who is your husband?
Husband is Mickey Garcia. He's Spanish.
Spanish?
He's Mexican.
He has blue eyes.
He's half Mexican, half Caucasian.
Is he that your husband?
That's my cousin, Jeff.
Your cousin?
Mm-hmm. Jeff and I work together.
Yeah.
He's my cousin.
Well, I'm so happy that you came to see me.
Mm-hmm.
This is your first visit.
No, this is my first visit in this apartment you have. But she had her own kitchen in the last one.
In your other apartment where you had more bedrooms and your own kitchen and stuff, she visited them when she was younger.
Mm-hmm. That's probably like 5 years ago.
Maybe more.
Well, what is it? He's making some
Oh, he's turning it off.
side. He's finishing up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're rolling.
All right, we're interviewing Jack and Ann Peoples for Rick's birthday. I have some series of questions, and if you'll just kind of answer them with whatever you think about. What's your favorite story or event involving Rick?
Well, Rick's always been a person that is around when you need him and knows how to get things done.
Well, when I think of Rick, I think of he and you and all of the wonderful birthday parties you planned for Pete and Jack, and
Yeah.
they really appreciated that.
How long have you known Rick, and where did you meet him?
Ooh, I've known him ever since he was born. Just a doggone good guy.
If you could give Rick any advice for his next 60 years, what would it be?
Keep doing what he's been
Yeah,
doing.
do what you're happy with.
He's been a good neighbor to people, and he helped to start the Good Neighbor Festival, I think. And he's just a good guy.
All right, now this is supposed to be a funny one, but what type of underwear do you think Rick wears?
Arts.
Shorts.
All right. How many times do you think Rick has shaved his mustache?
Maybe not over twice.
Do you think Rick is disgruntled, and why?
No, he's always smiling when I see him.
No, he seems to be a happy-go-lucky guy, which is a good trait.
What year should Rick have been born?
I think he should have been born a year ago.
What?
Because we need people like him where he can get around and keep things straight.
Okay.
Other than the last 2 years and the last 2 times, have you ever seen Rick's barn clean?
Yeah, when it was new.
That's about right. All right, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Happy birthday, Rick. You deserve a good day and the rest of a nice lifetime.
Yeah. I say the same thing. Bless you, brother. You're a fine gentleman, and we will always remember you.
And we enjoyed all those meals.
Yeah.
All right.
That it?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're cutting.
Okay. All right, first question. How long ago and where did you meet Rick?
Well, the first time I met Rick was when he was a little boy. And I was at Mr. O's store, and he walked from home at the corner of Sanus and Indian Creek Road down to the store to get him some candy. And I was sitting in the bench in front of the candy case, and Rick crawled up on the bench beside me so he could see the candy.
How about you, Miss Neat?
I didn't meet Rick until I married Pete.
What's your favorite story involving Rick?
Well, I reckon meeting him was one thing, and two, we done a lot of work together. He helped me and I helped him, and so we've been buddies a long time.
How about you, Miss Neat?
Well, my favorite one is they never saw an auction they didn't enjoy or find something they didn't need.
What's your number, Mr. Pete?
1.
And what's his?
I think his was 15, I'm not sure.
Is it? So you were the first, you're the number 1.
Number 1.
The original auction buyer.
Buy for Jack.
Well, I guess he learned from the best.
I attended all of his sales, and before he became an auctioneer, he and I traveled to Elizabeth City and up to Williamsburg and Courtville and places, and attended farm auctions together. And sometimes we even got up with Rick and carried him later on.
So you've caused his junk habit.
Do what?
You started his junk habit.
Yeah, I started, and I think he kept on working on it.
He did, he did. If you could give Rick any advice for his next 60 years, what would it be?
Take it easy and sit down and cross his legs and look at everybody and see what they're doing wrong.
How about you, Miss Neat?
Just don't change. Stay just like he is.
Aw. What type of underwear do you think Rick wears?
Well, I would say he'd wear probably boxer shorts.
How about you, Miss Neat?
I have no idea.
Oh. How many times do you think Rick has shaved his mustache since 1953?
Well, I haven't seen him without it since he grew it the first time, so I don't really know.
So Miss Neat? No clue.
No clue.
Alright. Do you think Rick is disgruntled, and if so, why or why not?
He's what?
Disgruntled.
No, he's never been disgruntled with me, so I can't say anything bad about him.
How about you, Miss Neat?
No.
No? Alright. What year should Rick have been born?
Well, it won't yesterday.
How about you, Miss Neat?
Rick would have fit in any year.
Miss Neat's too nice to him. Other than the 2 times in the past year, have you ever seen his barn clean?
Well, I saw it clean when he built it. So I haven't been around him since he has cleaned it, so I don't know.
So only when it first was built, that's it.
When it was first built, he had it clean.
How about you, Miss Neat?
And he had a stove in it when I saw it first.
Did you ever go to his parties up there?
No parties. We've always, he and I worked together up there several times.
How about you, Miss Neat?
I've never been in this.
You never been in his barn? You're like Aunt Lillian. He doesn't take the nice ladies into his barn, Mr. Pete. I don't know what that says about me, really.
We always went in the house.
Mm-hmm. And then basically now, y'all can just wish him, you can say whatever you want to him now. So those questions.
Well, I hope he can continue on with 60 more years and enjoy a long lifetime.
Happy birthday, Rick. And we really enjoyed you and your family.
You got it, Jeff?
Thanks for sharing.
Oh. Hey, say it one more time, Miss Neat. Say thanks for sharing one more time.
Thanks for sharing your family with us.
Got it, Jeff?
All right,
We
and?
had a very good time. In fact, I can remember the day Lina was in Virginia Beach with her mama, picked Rick and myself up when she was just a little baby. And her mama was nursing her.
They say I always like to nurse.
No, I don't know about that. I know you were hungry and you wanted something to eat.
I was a fat baby trying to eat. You got it all good?
That's right. All right, we're going to cut it.
Perfect.